So Natchai, congratulations on a fantastic win, 3 points in the bag. Where does this leave you now with the remainder of the season still to go?
It's going pretty good, so I'm hoping to get the title, obviously. We're still going very decent in the cup run as well, so we're looking to take it all, basically.
One slight disappointment there at the end was, of course, your centre midfielder. A truly unnecessary second yellow card for dissent there. This obviously puts you in a bit of a difficult position with very important matches on the horizon. Was there anything, have you seen the incident? Have you spoken to the player yet?
Yeah, I mean, what can I say? I mean, we tell the guys to be respectful to everybody on the pitch and outside of the pitch. Obviously, I mean, he must have had a rough game, so we'll talk to him. We'll get him in a one-on-one and see what actually happened to cause that, and we'll remedy for next time and see what happens in the next match.
What did you think of your opponents for this match, AFC RSI, and their performance today? Did they cause you much trouble in the end?
Not really. I mean, we have a long-standing history with AFC RSI, and admittedly, in the few seasons before this, we did have a lot of trouble with it, and they did have the upper hand. But as time grew, our team grew as well, and we've managed to get the tactics in to actually take the upper hand on them.
Okay, thank you very much for talking with us, Natchai, and congratulations on your win once again.
Bit of a disappointing day, considering everything that's going on, especially in the league at the moment. Does rather show how far we've still got to go to get back to where we belong, which is up at the top of the table. I think the boys put in a lot of good effort today. Some fantastic, noteworthy performances, Muller especially. Fully deserving of his Man of Match award, I thought.
PES-F Natchai, of course, old rivals for you.
Yeah. PES-F Natchai, fantastic team, always fun, always entertaining for the fans when we get to play them. I think the result was fair.
Did you see the sending off incident?
Very disappointing to see the reaction at the end of the game from their big centre midfielder, but that's up to his manager to deal with, isn't it?
So what now for you? Surely the league is out of your reach.
Well, our main goal for the rest of the season is tour. We're making a bit of a name for ourselves in Central Europe at the moment, and with a number of very entertaining fixtures lined up.
Any plans for the transfer market at all?
Oh no, there's no plans for any more signings at this point in time. I think the crop of players we've got can see us through to the end.
Well, the best of luck with that, Mr. Eva. Thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you. Welcome to the first PES-Aff vidcast. We're really happy to be here. It's just a pity this is the last PES-Aff vidcast and the last cast from us as a whole, as it happens. I'm Kevin, you may recognise from the voice.
And I'm Natchai, you may recognise me from somewhere else.
Yeah, there we go. So, we sent the call out to you guys for questions relating to us, football, the game. We've got a handful that we're going to discuss for you today as we come to the end of the game. Yes, indeed, the end of the game. Sad times.
Sad times indeed. So what do you want to talk about first? Do you want to talk about the questions, or do you want to talk about why the game is closing down?
Well, that was one of the questions actually we had, wasn't it? So who actually sent the question specifically, so we can...
A lot of players sent that question in specific.
Okay.
So
I think what's best at this point in time is I actually refer to the the official text, the official statement. So bear with me. If you've not seen this, it's up on the forum. There's numerous links if you look on the Facebook page to it, and if you're very lucky, there's a link at the bottom of the screen where you can go read this yourself. But the statement was on February the 10th as follows. Dear managers, it is with regret we have to inform everyone that PES-Association football will be retired as of April 7th, 2014, with the last League and Cup matches taking place on March 23rd. We apologise for any disappointment and inconvenience this will cause. Everyone involved in the creation of PES-Aff wishes to thank our dedicated fans for their help in growing and shaping this game. We truly appreciate it. We do hope that you will continue to play and enjoy the game until its closure. In anticipation of the game's retirement, we have immediately disabled coin purchases. Any coins currently owned can be used until the game closes. More details will be made available from the community management team shortly via our social channels. Thank you for playing PES-Association Football. Sincerely, the PES-Association Football team. Konami subsequently followed this up, actually Konami Japan, with the following statement. We appreciate that many of the PES-Aff users are disappointed with the closure on the 7th of April. However, we made this decision from such a strategic point of view that the PES franchise should be appropriately expanded. We will announce future development of the franchise once prepared. So, things to clarify, I think, first of all. Number one, we didn't make the decision to close the game. Okay, guys? This is something akin to our job. So making a decision that we could potentially not be employed anymore is not really something we would do. Also, we enjoy working on the game, so that's no reason why we wouldn't actually make the decision. The decision was made by Konami Japan, looking at PES as a whole, and as you heard from that last statement, a restructure of the PES brand. So PES-AF may be going away. Like I say, it never came out of beta, unfortunately, which is a shame. But those lessons have been learnt from that. A lot of experience and knowledge has been acquired by the Konami team, and they will use that in the future for how they develop the PES brand. They clearly have plans for it. We're not privy to them, so please don't ask us. But whatever happens, they're making a decision for the benefit of the brand as a whole. So sad, but if they think it's necessary, then they think it's necessary. Ultimately, at the end of the day, unfortunately.
Rest assured that every one of you got heard. We've sent a lot of feedback to them, a lot of questions that you guys had. And unfortunately, this is the decision that was made, but I think they realize that there's a specific group of players out there that really enjoys a game like this.
Oh, so, yeah, I think something to remember that this was Konami Japan's first social game. This is completely new ground for them, and it's exciting ground. The amount of feedback that you gave and we gave to the developers, they found incredibly useful. A number of game features, as you know, were developed off of the back of that. We had the huge change in December that was all instigated from your feedback. So yeah, whatever way PES goes, and we know that the console version, although that's not our area, we know that the console version obviously went through a big overhaul this year. They pretty much started from scratch, which for a year development cycle for a console game, guys, starting from scratch on that is a pretty major undertaking. So it all bodes well, I think, actually, for the future of PES as a brand. As I say, it is a shame that PES-Aff won't be sticking around, but who knows? Who knows? Features from PES-Aff may somehow find their way into future iterations of the PES brand experience. But sadly, I don't think. Sadly, not with us. But Yeah, that there's things for you to enjoy in the future.
Yeah.
And the present as well, because at the time we're actually recording this, it is Friday, the penultimate week of the actual seasons taking place in the game.
We're doing the last season of the game right now, and I think we can discuss our teams at the moment.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about what's going on with. Well, actually, we can talk about K versus N.
Yeah.
But before we do that, actually, I'd like us to just let's have a little think back of the storied rivalry of PES-Association and AFC RSI. But obviously, there's only a week left or so in terms of the league. Where is your team as it is now? Who have we got?
Right now, my starting 11 consists of Shirautel, which is a legend. I got Rafael, I got Ferdinand, finally.
Well, you finally got he's been trying to get Ferdinand. I can't remember how many seasons we're actually into now. I think it must be 30-ish.
Something like that.
Something close to 30 seasons. So 60 weeks, that means this man has been trying to get Ferdinand.
I got Phil Jones, I got Bittner, got Anderson, again, cleverly. I got Nani.
He has cleverly. That doesn't mean he got.
I didn't get Anderson cleverly. I got Nani. I got Fellaini. I got Podolski, who replaced Welbeck for me.
Yeah. Does Podolski have a glow there by any chance?
He has a perfect glow.
Yeah. Podolski, because you're using Man Red 13-14. Podolski was one of my players of the entire existence of the game. But only for 3 seasons, and then he just wasn't any good ever again, even when I got him back, to my somewhat confusion. He would not retain his previous form. But yeah, Podolski having a 4.6 average at the time of recording. Wow.
And then to top it all off, I got Chicharito Hernandez. Never Van Persie. Never find Van Persie, and I probably never will. So,
well, never say never.
Actually, of the whole Man Red formation, there was only a few players that I haven't been able to find.
So, because this is the thing, because you've been going the full whole official team. But you didn't start as that.
I didn't start as that.
But you sort of moved into that. I think this is just as the game's come to sort of near its end. I mean,
yeah. I think this must be like my maybe 10th season using this formation. I think before that I had a different one that I kept pronouncing weirdly, apparently.
Man Red is a very good way of sticking with that. Okay.
So the players that I didn't find, and mind you, some of them I did find in scouting packs, but I had no use for them at the time. And that would be Amos, Ashley Young, De Gea, Evra, Varela, who I've never heard of actually, Kagawa.
Oh, Kagawa, yeah.
Rooney, Valencia, who I did find in a pack, but I couldn't use him at the time. Van Persie and Vidic. Other than that, I found all of them.
Kagawa, obviously, the Japanese dev team were really into Kagawa.
They were very excited about Kagawa.
Very excited about his sort of coming out onto the big grand stage of football. So he'd have probably got a bit of a boost, I think, actually, with the game kept going.
There was kind of a battle between, well, I guess me and the Japanese dev team, because it was kind of like it was either Kagawa or Januzaj.
And there was a bit of a difference of agreement, wasn't there, as to who it would be. But that's the thing, isn't it? Who is, just because he's Man Red and it's a Man Red formation, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's the best player overall for that position.
No, actually...
He's not first choice anyway,
no.
so that's another thing obviously you've got to take into account.
And I have Januzaj and he doesn't optimize in my squad at all. I must have mistrained him.
Okay. Speaking of not optimize... Oh boy, AFC RSI, I mean... So, beginning of this season, I basically went through a whole rejig round, and obviously there's been a lot of giveaways floating around, so things have changed as a result anyway. I stuck with my Bayern 12-13 formation, which as soon as it came to pass that the 12-13 formation weren't leaving the game, I made it so that I went to change, and I can't remember who I went to change to from the 13-14s, but I didn't like. I played about 2 matches with it, and I didn't like it. I didn't like the way it. Ironically, it actually optimised slightly better when I switched the formation with the players that I had than the players I had with the Bayern formation. But it just didn't feel right. It just didn't feel like my team. So I stuck with Bayern 12-13. Okay, so the current team as of recording is as follows. De Gea is in goal. He's got a bit of a glow, not that much. Faintest of glows. Sergio Ramos is my right back. He wasn't very good initially for the actual position in terms of optimization, but I've trained him up and now he has a glow. Alex is one of the centre backs, as is Benatia. One of my star players is Mr. Kieran Gibbs. Oh yeah, I've had him for, I think, 7 or so seasons now. I think his contract's going to expire next season. Oh no! But I got him young, and I started to train him, and as a result, because of the way that the performance patterns go, it just so happens that he, even as a defender, was really speedy, it seemed, with the training when young. So he's in a speed position. I've been bumping up the speed. He's now, I can't remember what he started. He started in the 70s. He's now 94. And I've tried to keep the other stats available as well, because I think he can switch over to the other side, or has a little bit of midfield capability, if I remember rightly. So I've tried to keep it a little bit flexible, just in case I need him for some emergency reason in another position. But yeah, he's got a very strong glow. Seedorf is in midfield now. Cambiasso is his partner there. Both of those got a glow. They're relatively new signings though. Samuel Eto'o. Oh yes. Is in that position he's so well known for, left attacking midfield. But the reason is he's even though he's not performing very well, my current problem position, all of us have a problem position. We've said this before. There's a player who there's a playing position you just can't find somebody for, no matter what you do.
I have the same problem in the Man Red.
Yeah, and it is my attacking midfielder on the left. Everyone else is fine. But Eto'o is the best performing one I've got there. And after
2?
Yeah, he's played one. He's played one game. He got 2, but it was kind of a bit of a duff game.
Oh, okay.
But even so, the players I've actually had there, and to give you, I've got Kaká on my bench, and he's been there, and he didn't do pretty much anything. And he was strong for that position, and he's got the needed stats, but
Nothing.
that's not all optimization. That's not what optimization is. That's not the whole story. So his mentality just doesn't fit. It doesn't perform there. Didn't even get a glow. So so Eto'o is currently my makeshift attacking midfielder. Oscar, one of my best performing players off the centre forward there. He's got an average of 4.4, which is somewhat contrasting.
Is this still the same Oscar, or did you find him again?
This is the same Oscar that I have had for 12 seasons. Boy, has he matured. He's 32 now. We celebrated his birthday just the other day. And he's got a 4.4 at the moment. He's got a really strong glow, performs flawlessly, couldn't ask for anyone better there. We got a lot of training in his early years with the club. His early weeks with the club. He puts a lot of assists together. He's topped the tables on the statistics more than a few times, and certainly been in the mix for the goal totals and average performance as well. It's great. However, he is not as good as Muller on the right, who is the strongest glow of all. He's got a 4.1, so he's not performing as well as Oscar this season, allegedly, but it's actually him who's scoring the goals. I don't know why. He hasn't got any set pieces about him. He hasn't been doing anything. He's club captain for reasons of I just felt like it. But so he's the man. He's coming to the end of his contract as well. Who knows? But he's got. It just so happens that he's actually he's actually the player that's featured, and he's got 11 goals in 10 appearances, so that's not bad at all. Really boosted. He's got 96 in the way of speed now. He's still 28, so there's plenty of life in him yet. Oh yes. And up front, it is Demba Ba, as of last night. Previously it was Nicolas Anelka. Nicolas Anelka did nothing.
Did you find him while ruffling through your pockets?
No. Actually, no, it wasn't Nicolas Anelka before that. It was Nicolas Anelka who did nothing. And then, who was it you were looking for in centre forward?
Van Persie.
Van Persie. And then it was Van Persie. For several matches, he didn't score a single goal. He was 96 overall rating, didn't score a goal, didn't do anything. I mean, he probably sold the club a lot of shirts.
I bet he did.
No, he didn't really do anything. I actually remember his. I was so disappointed. I actually remember his average rate. It was 2.46. Nothing. Oh boy. But yeah, so that's where we are at the moment with AFC RSI. Overall, though, the overall ranking, because that's my big thing now, is I'm not really concentrating on the league. I'm like 7th, I think, at the moment, and it's like, yeah, I'm not going to do that, am I? Yeah, it's like, whatever. I'm concentrating on talks. I've got like a big stockpile of energy, and I had all manner of things when I actually looked in I didn't open my inbox for ages or something, and there was like tons of stuff there. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot we did all these giveaways and things, and I've got all this stuff now. I'd best use it. Yeah, so I'm concentrating on tour and getting my tour up, because for a very long time I completely neglected tour. And then we announced how the ranking system would work, and it was all wins and tour, and then all of a sudden I was in the middle of the people who only just started. Yeah. And that was a bit embarrassing. So I'm trying to get it. I'm just outside the top 10,000 now, which seems a lot, but actually it's there's a lot of hardcore players in there, especially for we've been doing this game for over a year now. So 10,546 was my ranking when we recorded this. You've got yours on there, actually. Where are you at the moment?
Mine is 7,386. No, 68, sorry.
Oh, we'll have to do something about that.
I was actually higher before. I remember when the club rank came out, I was like 5,000 or something.
And then people started hitting and realising the
they
situation.
Started playing Tour 2 like madmen.
Yep, playing Tour 2. It's the way to go.
Yep.
So yeah, that's where we are. How's your club sort of ending its days, Natchai, in terms of the silverware?
Silverware is wow.
Well, this is the question. Are you going to get his much wanted
Division 1
title
I don't know.
the final season? Natchai? Come on, what are you gonna do?
I'm second at the moment, and I'm trailing only by 2 points.
Who's in front? Is it In or Goku?
It's In,
It's In.
as far as I know.
Okay.
In had not lost a single game yet, and I've drawn one.
Okay. In is Ippei,
Yeah.
who approves these, and has helped you out with a number of things in the past. He's one of our main contacts at Konami Japan. He's put in a lot of effort in with the game as it happens. So he's been our main rival.
Together with Goku.
Together with Goku, who's also a development team.
Yeah. And I bet a lot of you people have played Goku because I've seen his friend history, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
And he's ranked somewhere. He's ranked really, really well.
I've seen him in the top 100.
Yeah.
He's in like 50 or somewhere like that, or 60, somewhere around there. So one of the devs is in the top 100. But the rest of us aren't. There's just nowhere near that level, and they never have been.
And I think it's actually me, you, and Ippei that have been in Division 1 for as long as...
We have been there constantly. Because that's the scary thing with Goku, is that even though
he's so good right now...
And he's got that high level, he did that 1.5 seasons
yeah.
and just falling down and had a terrible team.
He relegated. And then he came up and it was like...
Yeah. Because this was the story was that it just showed how the optimization worked, really, if anything. That was the one thing that it definitely showed, was because he had lots of 60s and 70s, and breezed through us in our Division 1, and we've got the hardest Division 1 because all the devs are in it, and
they know all the cheats.
They know all the cheats, but they know all the ins and outs of the game, let's say. So they know who would optimize and things like that. So
we don't.
We don't. There are secrets of the game that will elude us until it disappears. But nevertheless, he did blitz us. Completely and utterly toasted all of us, except I think he lost in the last day. But otherwise, it was a perfect season. And that didn't break a sweat and destroyed us all, with a team which had 180 player, mostly 70s, and about 3 or 4 60s in the squad. Yeah. And it was just because it optimized. It was perfect optimization. And then success, money, coins. Went out there, got lots of players, all 90s and things, and they weren't optimised in any way, shape or form. And it was literally the season after, or 2 seasons after, it was just plummeted, fell like a stone. Straight through, out of Division 1, into Division 2. Did he go into Division 3?
I don't think he did.
He got very close, because he didn't come straight back up. It was a couple of seasons before he came back up. But that just shows you the power of both optimization and of Goku. Scary team, scary. Okay, well, yeah. So that's the goal, obviously, for the rest of the game. For me personally, you've got the title to shoot for.
I've got the Division 1 title to shoot for because I already have the cup titles.
Yeah, you've got all the cup titles except the
amateur one.
The amateur cup, which is obviously is the amateur cup, and
yeah,
if you miss it the first time, it's difficult to get it again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've got my 2 league titles, I think it is, and 2 PES cups, and 2. What's the other?
Rising Stars?
Rising Star, that was the word.
No Konami Cups?
No Konami Cup. I got to the final, I think 3 times? True story. There was going to be a one of the achievements that we were going to put into the game because I wrote a lot of the achievements, and there was. When I say there is a big list of achievements that never got in the game, I mean a big
list.
Big list of stuff that I just wrote, and one of them was. I think I've told this in another one of these, but one of them was called "Always the Bridesmaid," aka Never the Bride. Which would be losing certain amounts of cup finals, and it was kind of inspired by me just, fighting all the way to the Konami Cup final, and then something happening. I think I got absolutely destroyed. The first year I got absolutely destroyed. The second time I got, I lost on penalties, I think it was. And the third and last time was, it was going so well, and I did a Manchester United Bayern Munich in reverse. I led 2-1 in like the final couple of minutes.
That's harsh.
Yeah, that was like, yes, it's funny. I was watching the game live as well. just to rub it in, I was watching the game live as it played out because it was like important. It was like, come on, I'm finally going to do it. You son of a... Who made this game? It's broken. I hate it.
I'm going to complain on the page.
Oh, dear admin. I want compensation for my loss and my tears. Oh. But I mean, I got the Rising Star a couple of times, and I got the PES Cup, which I was pretty pleased about actually with the PES Cup because that year was really hard as well, because I think that was the year that Goku were back but weren't ready yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd had a bad season the season before, and they were in, and In was in, and everybody who was tough and had a bad season was in the PES Cup. So it was essentially the Konami Cup, but for the PES. So the poor people who are in the PES Cup level, normally, it was like, oh yeah, I've got a good chance for the PES Cup.
Nope.
Goku in. A Vista. all these teams coming in, and then AFC RSI. Just coming in and destroying everybody. That was a good year. Good season. Okay. What other questions? Have we got any other questions? We must have some.
We have a lot of questions.
Okay. Excuse me, we'll have something to drink.
When the game closes, will the teams stay? Stupid question, but I'm curious, will there be tour and stuff, but no league and giveaways?
Okay.
This comes from Vadir Zuhair.
Hi. So, as far as I'm aware, you'll be able to play tour until such time as
April 7th.
April
7th.
Yeah, April 7th. Just making sure. April 7th. So you'll still be able to do that. You'll be able to get everything. We will not be doing any more giveaways after the main season finishes. However, you should be fine. Considering the amount of stuff what's happening for you in the final week, which you may have already noticed, depending upon when this gets approved. But no, so you've got 2 weeks sort of grace period where you're able to check your history, because that was one of our big things actually. When the game was closed, was announced it was being closed, it was sort of sprung on us as well. And we had, because this is actually sort of a linked question to what we had at the beginning, but one of the things that we had was essentially we're here to plan as well, not just for content, but for the future and processes and stuff. This is what community managers do. And we had a list, and it was like an emergency in the event of the game ever being, decided that it wasn't going to continue, that, certain things had to be done, which is why the purchases stopped immediately. So no more purchases could be made, and why the tour was unlocked. Tour 2 was unlocked. You didn't need any friends anymore.
Yeah.
You still need it for 13-14,
Yes.
but that was but it couldn't be done because there's no more dev time.
No more development.
There's no more development on it at all. So all of those things were done, and one of the things that we were concerned about and was on that list, which I'm very pleased to say that Konami, to their immense credit, really wanted to make sure that you guys had a good end period, and wasn't just announced, that's it, bye, see ya. They wanted it sort of run down gracefully, and you to have the support still. So hence we're here still. One of the things was that once the final season is done, if it ended when the season ended, the final season ended, that's fantastic. How did I do? Don't know. Don't know. So you've got this 2-week period. You can still play tour, and as a sort of way to say goodbye to the game, or if you really want to finish those tours, here's your last chance. But it also allows you just to see your game history, check it out. I think you can still play friendlies.
I think so, yeah.
I think we can. Don't quote us on it, guys, but we think we can still play friendlies. So it's a sort of very long goodbye. But this way you can still see how well you did in the final season and everything.
All right. Eric Santos asks, why are substitutions usually wrong?
Because they're not, is the answer to that. This is the question we get asked a lot. Why are substitutions wrong? And the answer is, and it really is, the genuine answer is, because they're not. The thing with substitutions is, if there is what people think is that if there is a player for that position that is strong, then it should go to that. But what they forget is that that's not the point of the optimization. Mm-hmm. The position is only part of that. So because the game can't or couldn't at the point in time, there's a question relating to sort of future stuff later on, if I remember rightly, which I'll talk about this more, but it picks a player who is competent in that position and can play, and there's a minimum level they can play at. Remember, you can have somebody who's superstar, and they can still have a bad game, and they can still if somebody's 5 or something, they could still have a match where they get a 2. So yeah, the fact that a substitute is picked is based on the fact that they have the ability to play in that position at a minimum specific level, at the very least. Yeah. So if it doesn't pick the ideal player that you personally would have picked, if it's doing multiple things at a time, it doesn't know your preferences. Mm-hmm. The game does not know your preferences. There may be some player who you do play out of position. Normally, I mean, I've had it certainly with my team, because there was a period of time where Bale was my left back because he optimised there. It's the way it worked. So, if there's no option to do it manually, which of course there wasn't, sadly, they were able to be implemented into Tor, because it would never been able to be implemented into the actual live league games and cup games, but. It goes on the basis of who can perform in the position, not who is suited for the position in terms of their strength, because that is not the full story when it comes to a player, and as a result you cannot say without specifying.
Alright, Peter Clark asks why the seasons are so short. This is an interesting question.
Why are the tickets always gone? Well, this is the thing, the seasons are so short. I'm going to be like the previous game, because they're not. Okay, so you need, for the seasons, you need an amount of time that is satisfactory to get out and do a full rundown of a season and cup campaigns. So the decision was taken for it to be 2 weeks. There are several reasons why. It wasn't made 1 week because that would have been silly. To do a full season, rundown, it's yeah. I mean, you congratulations, you've bought a player and he's immediately gone. How annoying would that be? Conversely, 4 weeks, so a month for a season is, it's kind of long. So I remember this is a social game. It's still supposed to be, pow pow pow. There's got to be an amount of content per day. We've seen this recently with other games. What happens, and I'm sure you've seen it in the news, you know which games I'm referring to, where if you have a social game and it is slow, and so you do one thing and you've got to wait, kind of loses its fun. So yeah, to have all the games take place, to have the cup take place, for it to be balanced in terms of time, 2 weeks just simply fit better.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, you don't want it to be, I've had one game, I've done my tour, now what? It just worked out better that way. When we had the poll, because there was talk at one stage, as you might remember, of changing around this, because, well, the same question really, it's like it's a bit too short or a bit too long. And we asked the question, members of the dev team wanted it to be 1 week, and we said no. And you said, more importantly, you said no. So that was
That was the main thing.
We thought that maybe 4 weeks you'd think would be a bit too long, and generally most of you did.
Yeah.
You were happy with 2 weeks, but the thing that we actually had considered was 3 weeks, which would have been, which a majority of you voted for, actually, if I remember rightly. And it was being considered.
It wasn't an actual option to actually vote for 3 weeks, which would have been interesting to see. But a lot of you voted 4 weeks with a comment, but really I would like 3 weeks.
And we took that into account.
It was being considered by the dev team at one point.
In the end, it was decided just to stick with the 2 weeks because
it worked well.
if you had to change it, if you had to extend it, because the reason we didn't add 3 weeks is because it just didn't feel right as in terms of. I'm going to say evenness, even knowing that 1 is an odd number, but I think you know what I mean with that. To have 3 weeks is odd in both a numerical and a sort of balance sense. But
It's
hey.
like turning the volume up on the TV and not wanting it to be at 15.
And football, Matt, and so there's the other thing is that football seasons have this sense of there being 2 halves of a season, and that was one of the other things that we wanted in the game when we were looking at it with the developers all those many weeks and months ago, was that there needed to be like, okay, this is a halfway point, which you can't really do with 3 weeks. There needs to be a halfway point because certainly in the English league, it's always assumed that Christmas is the halfway point. We've got an achievement in the game, Christmas Champions, which reflects that. So there's a lot of reasons why it was sort of chosen and why sort of we just naturally gravitated to say 2 weeks.
All right. Now we have a full list of questions.
Oh boy.
From Danny de Bizarre.
Hi, Danny.
Okay, the first one is, who was your personal favorite member of the community? I think it's fair to say that we don't have favorites.
We don't, actually.
We don't.
And I think it's fair to say, whilst there are fans that we interact with more, like yourself, Danny, I think the community would be agree with you that if there's something that's going on, then you'll see. We'll make a note and we'll interact with you, whoever you are. And if you've got a comment, your comment isn't more or less valuable than anyone else's necessarily.
No.
So it's always a case of, and always has been the case in the games, that we'll take the feedback from wherever.
Yep. Anyone, anywhere. Who has won the most Manager of the Month awards? I don't actually know. I think it was pretty even.
Is he saying this because it's him?
I don't know. Maybe he did the math and he came to find out.
Really?
I'm not sure. I
think it is actually. I think it is. In all seriousness, because we kind of stopped doing Manager of the Month when everything went south with the announcement. So it's probably. There was no, actually, you know who it is? It's whoever it is that's from the French page, who's had it like 2 or 3 times because of the superb. And I'm so sorry because I can't remember your username, but I know that Severin, our French colleague who you've heard on the podcast before, has mentioned, and I think there may have been a Spanish and Italian, but no, I'm pretty certain it was the French. Is that they just put head and shoulders above everybody, and they kept getting the award. I might be wrong on that, but there is definitely somebody on one of the non-English pages who has definitely won it more than anyone else.
Who has been your favorite personal player of whom has been a part of your squad at any time since you have been playing the game?
Podolski.
Yeah?
As I said before, Podolski. I was so upset. I was legitimately really upset that he stopped performing. I went through so many hoops to get him back, put him in the same position. He was the same player. We hadn't had the changing round of the stats at that point. For some reason, it just didn't work anymore. It made no sense to me. It was so frustrating.
My personal favourite was either Welbeck or Anderson. Welbeck I had in my team for a very long time, and he performed very well every season. He always came up in the average ranking tab, and he always had either a lot of goals or a lot of assists. So
that is true for Welbeck. I think generally in the game, actually, he'll do one of the two really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
I think it may take. I think it was I saw Welbeck. It's like it took about 2 seasons for him to almost get warmed up and up to a sort of. He was just like on the cusp of being a really great player within the space of our game.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's just if you have 2 seasons with him, by the time he comes probably to the end of his first contract, he's just indispensable for you.
Do you recommend any other games that you may community manage that you would recommend?
Oh. Who said that one?
It's Stibizaal still.
Oh, Stibizaal still, is
Yeah.
it? Okay. You know what's best, if you do, actually, is, this may surprise you, we're not Konami, but what you may like to do in the future, if you would like to keep track and keep tabs on the various things that we are involved in the community management side, is go to the following link at the bottom of the screen, following the Facebook link, like the page there for MO Group International, which is the organisation that myself and Natchai and the rest of the guys work for. We do community management services on all manner of things, not just games. And if you actually say like that, and you'll get an update on, who knows, from us occasionally, the occasional nice article, evaluation, and any news on new projects, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But we're on net, and I think it's Mogi_team on Twitter. Is that right?
I think so.
Mogi_team on Twitter. Feel free to follow and like those particular accounts.
What is your personal favorite game of all time? Or if you would make a top 5.
Okay. Right. After you.
Okay. I have a long history of playing Counter-Strike.
Yeah. He does. Any weekend on Steam.
I'm currently playing South Park, which I'm really enjoying. I'm a big fan of the Assassin's Creed games.
As am I.
What else? Oh, and the Batman games. I very much like the Arkham series because I'm a huge Batman fan. So that would be it for me.
True story. There is a statue of Batman
Here in the office.
from the Dark Knight film. It's great. We're actually not in the normal room we recorded the podcast in. Actually, if we were in that room, I'll be able to spin the camera around at this point, and you just see like Batman just staring at you out the corner of the corner. So technically, Batman's been on about 3 podcasts.
Yeah.
But you never knew.
He's the Silent Knight.
He's this. Oh. Bye, everybody.
So, what are your favorite games?
Okay. This goes back to a lot of my personal history with games. Obviously, it's long and varied, and projects that I've worked on in the past, and yada yada yada. So, in no particular order, Tales of Symphonia, which I got the original GameCube version, and I've done something recently, but so it's like a fantastic RPG, and I really enjoy it. Turrican 2 for the Atari ST, which was initially done by, I think, Electronic Arts, and it's gone through all manner of the Turrican series, all manner of things. Fantastic game, platformer to space shooter to all kinds of things. It's a real classic, including one level which is utterly mad, which is this space like shooter. It's like an old school spaceship shooter, which you suddenly go into, and then there's one point in the game where your ship gets damaged, and the engine gets damaged, and it's like imagine you're in you're in a car, and then the throttle gets stuck. It loses the ability to slow down, and it just starts going faster and faster and faster and faster, and you're flying down narrow tunnels, and the screen's just going like this, and you're taking damage everywhere because you're flying through walls and things. It's utterly crazy. That for me. Also, it was a really novelty game for me at the time because, like I said, I had the Atari ST, and it had a white floppy disk.
Oh.
Pure white floppy disk with like aqua blue writing on it, and it was like cool. But I played it as a demo from one of the ST magazines back in the day. So there's that. Sonic Adventure 2 Battle was a big game for me personally. A heck of a lot of enjoyment out of that. And I can't remember anymore. I can't remember anymore. There's far too many. Assassin's Creed, Brotherhood for me, in terms of actual gameplay.
I quite liked Black Flag. I really enjoyed that one, but you haven't gotten around to play it yet.
Yeah. No, unfortunately not. Metal Gear Solid series.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously.
Alright. Will the forum be shutting down once the game shuts down?
You have the answer to this, actually, if I remember right.
I think it's safe to say that we will be shutting down the forum on April 7th, I believe. But it will still be accessible.
So you won't be able to post?
But you'll be able to read everything.
As a sort of an archive.
Yeah.
Archival access. I think the various licenses and things last that long. So obviously they're keeping it up for that length of time. So.
As you may notice, actual registration to the forum is already turned off because we were just getting swamped by spammers. It was really ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't know why that suddenly was the case.
Yeah.
Because it was actually relatively okay. For all forums get spam, but yeah, that was a bit weird. The game was closing, and then spam bots. But yeah, that's turned off. So yeah.
And Danny's last question, I think he got from my personal Facebook account. Would you like to buy Tips and Rumors for $2? No, I've learned my lesson.
We'd like to tell you, but unfortunately this is being filmed in Europe.
And then the last question that we have is from Nevo, who is actually a new forum member, I think. I don't remember seeing him on there. Do you?
No.
This comes from the forum.
Nevo ZGHR. Hi. What's the question?
Welcome to the forum. Are you playing football and on which position?
We think we mentioned this in one of the Sunday discussions very, very recently.
Yeah, we did.
Historically, I played football centre back.
And I played left midfield until I was about 12 or 13, I think.
I played slightly longer. I played until I was 16. So I was in the under 17s. I think I was like, let's call it a day. I'm just like, none. For now, I'm just not enjoying this now. No, but I played centre back. I played right back very briefly. Played left back as well. I had minor optimisation there.
Did you glow?
I did afterwards because at the time, because they not expected me to run, because whilst I'm quite stocky, as you can see, and I was relatively tall for my age, and I could surprisingly still run very, very fast. So they put me on the left on the basis that I had the sense to know how to use my left foot, even though I wasn't left-footed. It's like, there's a disaster. It was like, Kevin could at least understand how a left foot works. So we'll put him out there because he can run relatively fast. Yeah, he can run relatively fast. I was glowing a lot though, because at that particular time when I was growing up, I had like really painful Achilles. So yeah, I played football and I was in agony for the rest of the weekend. So that was good. And then they moved back to centre. Apart from one minute time where they toyed with the idea of me being a target man, just between the midfield and the attack, I was sort of floating between, which would have worked were it not for the fact that then nobody passed. The one game that we tried this manoeuvre, nobody was able to get the ball actually past the midfield of the opposition, and it was a terrible game, and it was. It started badly, and it went downhill from here. Have you ever played football on like the side, like a hill somewhere?
Oh,
in
yes.
Hills? Okay. Imagine you're doing that. Imagine it's been raining a lot recently. Imagine this is like it's just woodland and then a football pitch. But you're still like exposed hillside. Then imagine there's a monsoon, and the monsoon's coming straight at you, and there's nothing to see. Then imagine that the match is still played. Where they came to a point where it was so bad. It was so bad that they didn't want to abandon the game, because to do so would somehow admit defeat. We couldn't run. It was sort of, they had mud sort of clinging to you up to the shin, and you were essentially going with every. The ball, you would kick the ball, it would go 2 meters, and then the mud would just stop it, and nobody could see anything because they were just blinded by. I can't remember. The score was like 18-6.
Was that a football or?
It was football. It was football. It wasn't rugby. It was football. But it was just so bad. It was. Everyone wanted to stop, with the exception apparently of the referee. And we were seriously, because what was even worse was we were the ones on the losing side, and we were like, seriously, we're fine with it. Just call it as it is. We admit defeat. In the managers, both managers go, seriously, look, we agreed to end this. We'll end it as a draw. Even the opposition were like, we'll end it as a draw if you want to. this end game because the kids are just the kids are there. You know, they've gained twice the amount of weight on their body that they previously had just because of the amount of water and mud on them. I remember actually getting home and seeing my mum, and she legitimately thought I was another kid. Asked my dad who this child was. I was like, that's kept. What the heck's happened to him?
You broke him.
It was like, I was like, help, please. There was lightning as well to make it even better. It was like all the kids out in the lightning storm, in mud, playing football. For no reason at all. It didn't even mean anything.
That's football in Europe, I guess. I have similar stories.
Similar stories. Did you play anywhere else apart from midfield?
No, I've been a left midfielder for forever.
Forever. No. I think pretty much every sport I do, I've always been a defender, with the exception of rugby, actually, when I was winger specifically. But hey, there you go. So let's get on to K versus N because we've been going for ages.
Yeah.
Okay, so K versus N, the big showdown between myself and the winner. So, yeah, so we started from the beginning. This was the rules, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Started from the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
and we got ourselves into your nice new shiny account, and it was, okay, how high can we get? K versus N, the race. How far can we get in terms of up the rankings before the game ends? Using every trick in the book that we can come up with.
Except for giving ourselves packs.
Yeah, we do
and
not give
energy.
ourselves packs. So
we're getting exactly the same as you guys are,
Yeah.
are getting.
absolutely. To the point where at some of writing there's been an issue with the giveaway that we've done
Mhm.
slightly, or it's gone to some people and not to others. My account actually got it twice,
And mine did.
and Natchai's didn't, and I have not claimed the second set. So we're going to keep this even. It did take me a week to get into my account, though. Thanks, Facebook. Very kind of you. Actually, I'll tell you about my team.
Yeah.
My team first. So they're a bit behind. They're currently level 20. We have Shay Given in goal. Carlinos left back. Fanny centre with Boateng. Kelly on right back. Kurtulus, which I'm probably pronouncing wrong, left midfield. Shankar in centre with Stevie G. Kuzmanovic is on the right. It's completely out of position, but I've got no one good for that position and can't find anyone, so he'll have to do. Tarapt is in attacking centre midfield, and Samuel Eto'o again, who I both got Samuel Eto'o for both sides in the same day, is centre forward, doing a dance like better than his AFC RSI equivalent, and yeah, that's the state of play. We got those guys. I'm currently at position 361,560, which, considering for after the first week and a half I was like 1.5 million, is not particularly bad. In fact, I climbed up 22,607 positions yesterday, so that's pretty good.
That is good.
Second in the league, lost one so far this season, but doing well. It's the tour tactics that I'm employing, I think, are paying dividends slowly and quietly in a very, very, very sneaky way. But
Are you still playing 1-star teams?
no, actually,
No?
because I've done all the 1-star teams, and now I've moved on to the 2-star team because my team is now good enough that they can handle the 2-star teams. I'm going to go around the 2-star teams, and when obviously my team are higher and higher and higher, I can then go around the 3-star teams, not having any issue. Because why I'm not sticking around with the 1-star teams? Because if I can do the 2-star teams, then I can get more achievements and I can get more experience points and more resources. So it's, like I said, this is managing the resources and the energy that we have.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that actually. If you want to see how they're doing, they're in area 309E, Division 4. Like I say, currently second in the league there, Division 4. So yeah. How's yours though, all-conquering hero?
My team is pretty fantastic actually for being a 2-season team. I've been very lucky with transfers.
Because you had like a really stellar side after about a week and a half. Didn't you?
It was crazy. So I started off with Sirigu, who's in goal for me. I found Jalais, I guess you pronounce it, en François.
Francais, not Francois. we don't know anyone called Francois to mimic them.
So I have Jalais, right back, Mongongu, right centre back, Zoner, left centre back, who's a legend, Maxwell, left centre back. I have Capoue, centre back, centre midfield. Then I've got Matuidi, left midfield, Pastore, right midfield, Menyes on the right wing, Lavezzi on the left wing, and Tevez as forward.
Tevez.
Yeah.
Carlos.
Tevez is the only one on my team that has no optimization. But he's still performing well. He still has 3.9. No glow, but 3.9.
So there we go again. You see, the glow does not mean everything. The glow is like the player can play at this rate.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean he will play at this rate. Never has done.
And aside from that, I actually have some PSG players on the bench.
Because you're using PSG. Because you're using PSG, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh, absolute benefit. See, I wanted to go somewhere different. I wanted to do a formation that I don't think anyone uses, which is Northluck FC, which you may know as a English league side who use green and yellow as their club colours. Not exactly the most powerful side in the game. They are a 1-star team, but it's not about that. It has been, so I wanted to prove that it could be done, and you could get these optimised players. And actually, there's quite a lot of glowing players now that I have.
Yep.
So yeah, it can be done. You have never had to just have Barca or Real or Bayern or PSG or Man Red or Man Blue or North London or any of those other, or London FC or any of those other clubs that seem to be the real favourites.
Yep.
Didn't need to do that.
As far as League and Cup goes, I'm having a fantastic run, honestly. I've won every game so far. I've only let in 3 goals over the entirety of League and Cup so far.
Wow, that's
So
pretty impressive. That.
It's going really well.
Wait a minute, 3 goals?
3 goals, yeah.
And we're sort of halfway through.
So I'm hoping to get...
You could get that really rare achievement.
I'm hoping to get it, yeah.
For at least less than 10 in
Less
the
than 10
season,
goals.
for a league season. So you're doing well, so just as well, because we're in different leagues, aren't we? So probably just as well, because otherwise I would have messed that up for you, so chronic.
Unfortunately, I can't tell you which area I'm in, but I'm supposing it's the same one.
There'll be a screenshot on your screen at some point
Yep.
in time, and you can see it on there. Again, it'll be magically placed here. There you go.
And for the people that have actually found the profile that I'm using to get that team,
Yeah, I'm just gonna. Like loads of friend requests. People, I'm so sorry, but no.
I'm actually allowing them because I have nothing to lose. This is just a second account for
But
me.
again, this is a tactical change thing because you can get energy. And you can get
Exactly, I'm getting a lot of energy. But something of note for the players who have found me on that account, the profile picture I have on there with the strange guy to my right is actually Adam Botti. He's the community manager for PES, the console game. So there you go. Now you know what he looks like.
One day, worlds collided.
And if Adam is watching this, hi.
Okay, you can't have our set, by the way, Adam. If you want to do one of these, you can't. This is ours. This is ours.
Yeah.
It's very comfy.
And my position in the club ranking as of today is 243, 391 position.
Okay, so I'm
120 positions. Something
Yeah,
like that.
20-ish behind, but closing all the time.
Yeah.
Like I say, considering how big the gap was, I'm very happy about that. Actually, just to be in like, just to be able to see you on the edge of the horizon is good.
I've actually asked him today, like, hey Kevin, what's your club rank? Expecting him to say like 500 or 700,000. Oh, yeah, I was kind of surprised when he said 300,000.
Yeah, closing down. It's good actually keeping it in balance, because there are days when we can't get into our particular accounts because we're busy with work. So you don't tend to do it on the weekend, but I do tend to play on the weekend. But I'm busy Monday and Tuesday, so it's still balancing out, which is great. And what's also great is that you and me are gone completely different in terms of our tactics and our strategies, and the way we're playing the game, and we're still being successful at it. And that just shows you that you didn't have to do it a certain way. You can do it whichever way you want and whichever formation you want, as long as you pick what you wanted and then you work your way around it. It's what had always been the case. It's what we said was the case, and there you go. It's proof in action of that.
All right. I guess that's it for K versus N.
K versus N. There was no more questions.
Nope.
One last thing, actually, to do with the K versus M. Guess which player I got just the other day. You know that player that I had at AFC RSI for like 16 seasons, who wanted nothing but 5-season contracts, who, as soon as I got rid of him, he came pretty much straight back into the team. Our good old friend Busquets. Guess who I got just the other day for the special tickets for midfield? Yeah, he's on the bench. He's stalking me. This is an appeal. If you know where this player is, please, 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 can you tell him to leave me alone? Okay. Because we've gone past, funny and spooky to, seriously, I'm getting freaked out now. The player keeps following me around. Have you ever had one of these players that just sticks with you and just keeps popping up? Because I know people who said, "Oh, I keep getting this player, keeps popping up in your individual transfers." There seems to be one player that pops up all the time. Have you had that one of these players?
For my Man Red team, I seem to find either Maxwell or Alex a whole lot, but I never actually signed them, except for Maxwell at one point, I think.
I signed Maxwell and he did nothing at all.
He's doing pretty well now in my K versus N team, but obviously.
He's doing nothing at all, and you should get rid of him. You should pick somebody who's clearly in the 60s, but who optimises awesomely. To prove a point, actually.
Just to prove a point.
That's what you should do. That's what you should do. Okay. I think that is all we have time for.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for playing the game and listening to us on the podcast previously, and watching today, of course, from all of us at the community team for PES-Aff. I've certainly enjoyed working on the game.
I have as well. I've learned a lot. And I've met a lot of very cool people.
Absolutely. So, you have until the 7th of April to enjoy the game, after which it'll disappear. The seasons will end at the end of this current season, so March 23rd, I believe, is when there will be no more League and Cup games. So best of luck in your last season. If you're buying players, bear in mind that you do not have to worry about age at this point. Do not essentially worry about anybody whose contracts are about to expire. If you've got contracts who have expired, obviously just go for it if you want to keep hold of them. And check out the Facebook page for the ongoing story, full time.
Lawrence.
Of the evil Lawrence, the evil chairman. Who, honest to goodness, we were going to have a comic at one point.
Yeah, that was in the works.
That was honest to goodness in the works. It kind of just it just didn't quite make it. We had lots of things in, and a lot of the stuff that's going around in the story, because I write the story. A lot of the stuff going on in that was stuff that was probably going to happen down the line. We were going to have all manner of things in the game, like chairman. The chairman character was going to come into the game and give you tasks and things to do and extra things and for rewards and things, just like an extra challenge system. He was going to be in there. The fact that he was going to be meddling was going to be an issue, and then there were going to be effects that would have on your particular season at any one time. So there'd be like a seasonal effect that you'd have to work around. So if you're interested in the things that are going to be in the game, that's one of them. But yes, like I say, keep an eye out for the extra goodies. Who knows, if you've been particularly observant, there may be something that you yourself can get by way of additional benefits for your team. But yes, from myself,
And from me,
thank you very much for playing.
thank you. And we'll see you around.
Cut and scene. And so the end is near. I face the final curtain.